It's your Lord High Admiral Gmodism from the Army of Gmodism. I hope you have enlisted. If you haven't, do it now. Also, you can join the commissioned officer if you wanna support the channel each month. Huge thanks to all of you cadets, and special thanks to Admiral Super Dave, Captain Y, Commander Jacob, Lieutenants Asteria, C2, Cravey, Parbag, Retaileras, and Vincent Veritas. Your monthly help helps me out a lot. In any case, we will now be moving back to the bomber challenges. We're gonna test the last batch of the bombers against the Onyx Watch Claymore that absolutely needs to be destroyed for us to be able to conquer the Nether. We obviously need a competent bomber, which is the entire reason behind this challenge. So let's go. We are here at one of my personal aesthetical favorites. This is Scoobymation's second submission, the Pigeon. Look at the beauty, it's very aesthetic. We can walk around in the hull, there is nowhere to sit, but there are cool pillars for the superstructure. I don't know how much punch it packs, but it's definitely a... like this I just love the aesthetics of this thing. It feels like I could have designed this myself. If I'm going to be so bold. I'm not sure it would look this nice and in this way, but it's super cool and it's inspiring. I just like it. It's barely a bomber since it's more of an airship, but an airship can be a bomber too, of course, and we're gonna put it to the test. We're here again with the bomber challenge. It's sitting here at some kind of standby. We have a targeting turret and all that stuff. Very cool. So we're gonna get and jump in with an Onyx Watch thing. There we go. The Onyx Watch Claymore is popping in air. I almost expected these pods to turn forwards. If they did, it would go a lot faster. Is it just me, or is this thing gonna get absolutely annihilated by the crams? No? We're unscathed? That is quite amazing. I kind of just wanna stand on this thing while we have some action. Oh, look at that. That is some damage. That is a bit scary. We're going in for another round. The crams reliably miss it. I did not expect that. Look at that. If you want to know, by the way, how I control my camera, you should definitely take a look at my camera control video. This thing needs to be repaired. Thank you. I have a little tutorial about camera control, so that you can do nice screenshots, move around your camera, not get lost, lock onto targets and all that stuff. Alright. So the crams tend to miss here. I think the target might be a little bit small. We might have once again an area where the Pigeon also would probably deal a little bit better against larger targets. But of course we need to test bomber precision. If we're gonna send out a single bomber to deal with the threats of the Army of Gmodism, we of course need to check them if they can take out that single target or if they're helpless. It doesn't seem the bombs pack a huge punch, actually. It looks really cool. It really does, but... there are 4 bombs, right? And they are just... not dealing a lot of damage. And the machine guns aren't shooting very often either. That's a good hit though. That's a good hit. But the damage it does kinda surprises me a little bit. Tell me, I don't control anything, right? You can see here. I wonder why the machine guns are not firing. Maybe they're only fire against closer targets. Possibly they're only against close anti-air. But who knows? Alright. Pigeon is coming along here once again for another swoop. Bombs are getting spawned. Bam! Good hit. All of them good hits. Dealt some damage indeed. We're down by 10%. So it deals decent damage, but well, I would almost suspect, I would almost think that it would deal more damage, but perhaps the shells are designed in a way so that they are not easily taken out by lambs and stuff like that. So that of course means a lot of hardener pellets. These means. I think we're gonna restart the battle and see if we get any different results. There we go. And I did tell you this last time, but if you're not in the Army of Gmodism, go to the bot self-assignment panel, a little area in our Discord server, and there you can self-assign yourself Matros 3rd class. If you don't, of course, intend to join the Army of Gmodism's commissioned officers, which you absolutely also can do. That's cool. But other than that, we now need to do a quick repair because we got hit by crams. Just gonna see here if we get some nice bomber shots. Oh yes, look at that. 2 good hits, dealing some frags. It's a very like calm type of bomber. Ooh, that bounced. I had just imagined this thing going... Does this cost much to keep in the air? Would it be nice to rebuild this thing to be a resource gatherer instead? Like a proper tugboat or something? Because it feels like that's probably what it should be. But of course, now it's equipped with crams. And it does deal damage. And you should not be getting damaged there. But I really wonder about the machine guns not shooting. One thing I do want to check. Wow, we got some bombs here. Oh, that's a really good hit. That is if these are real. Oh no. Here we have munition. Oh! They're not anti-munition. They could have been. Why do we have munition detectors on? Or is this? That's probably laser, right? No, I don't remember how the new model. Laser warners. Yeah, that's the laser warner. The new munition detectors look a lot different. Coming in for another round. The Claymore has some health left, but not a lot. It has a lot of health left. I do think we know how much damage it deals in relation to the other contestants. So I do think it seems to be a pretty capable bomber, but it misses some of the time. We're not measuring for that. It's an easy target, of course, but that's not what this is about. You can see the amount of damage it deals. So I think I'll know where to grade this on the scale. So we will be moving on to the next submission, and this time it's by Straight American Imperialist. And the Straight American Imperialist has the name AoG Bomber Plane, so we really know what this plane is gonna do. We got a bumper, we got some diff guns. This is gonna be very interesting to see what types of damage we're dealing. Oh man, at instant spawn. We're getting some real long missiles here. We have some real evasive maneuvers too. Oh, we're diving down. Oh yeah. This thing is pretty quick, right? Didn't fire? Okay. See here. 108 meters per second. Oh. Oh! Alright. We have found a way to deal some proper EMP damage. Alright, next round. We got the missiles incoming here. I do think that these missiles have the capability of single-handedly taking out the Claymore due to its not perfect EMP protection. And this has a pretty strong EMP. That is an instant kill once again. Well, I didn't want to tell you beforehand if targets could be weak against EMP or not, because the truth is, some are. Everyone doesn't use EMP, so it is a trade-off if you want to use EMP or not. And a lot of smaller crafts are not, does not have the capability of being protected against EMP. So it is it's a metric. You can use it. It might prove to not be good at other challenges, but at this particular challenge, it proves very nice. We can even spawn... Let's spawn 3 claymores, just... like, we already know... I can write down the points already. We know where to grade it on this challenge, of course. It's nothing difficult with that. It's just, I potentially just wanted to see the diff guns. Oh, and we can see they provide some real good damage too. This one, is it offline? I'm gonna see this thing. I just wanna see it a little bit in action. I think you can guess too around where on the scale this thing is graded from these results at this particular challenge. It's damaged. We're not testing that. We're gonna repair it. Did it shoot down its own block there? Interesting. These missiles really make it bad times for the Onyx Watch. Ooh. Are we gonna diff gun dive? Oh yes! That deals a lot of damage. Well, that's super cool. It already has its points, so that's cool. You can see it has a very interesting design with the barrels in the front fin going like that. It looks quite a bit wonky, but I mean, if it works, we're gonna grade aesthetics separately, of course, so everything is important. I think it looks pretty cool though, very futuristic and definitely very efficient in this challenge. I don't see it having any hard time taking out any of these ships really. So I think it could take out probably 10 of these single-handedly. So we're going to move on to the next submission, which happens to be Cringe's first submission. This is the MB4 and it looks absolutely stunning. I'm just gonna make sure I'm not controlling any weapon. You can see we have some beautiful looking engines here. I think we accidentally have a missing supercharger, but well, if this gets accepted into the Army of Gmodism, of course, we can fix it afterwards, but it is what it is. So we're now going to spawn a Claymore and see what types of damage we're dealing. We have a beautiful cockpit on this thing too. Look at that. I think these are explosive shells, so I do suspect they're dealing very little damage. Oh, that's not what we're measuring here. Repair it. Okay. What did we drop? This thing? Oh, look at that. Here we got what we dropped. Big explosives. Bam! We're popping in for another. Whoops. Here we go. Got a pretty big bomb bay here, that's for sure. And it, oh, look at that. It closes itself whenever it's not getting used. I don't know what happened there, so we're just gonna recharge everything. Bomb bay is getting opened. Very nice. That's a cool feature. They're dropping down here. Oh yes. Magnets are getting activated. I would yeah, there we go. Bam. And they have a lot of explosive parts in them, so these bombs do pack a proper punch. We got some machine guns going on there. We also got an installed on board little cannon there that shoot explosive shells. Looking very splendid, I must say. Look at this thing. Looks very cool. The big engines in the wings look really adds to a very nice aesthetic. Look at that cool thing. Look at it go. The Claymore is down to 90%. We can probably see that another shell against an armored target would have been better. The MB4 would probably also... it's the MB4, right? Yeah. It would also probably have been happy to meet a soft wooden big target instead. Those explosive autocannon would have dealt a lot more damage then. Now we got shot, which isn't really what we are looking at in this particular challenge. But I do believe... Oh, it gets out of the water all fine, that's good. But I do believe we are going to restart this battle and see if we get any different results. Look at that, we just want to see those bombs. Dropping down very close and then getting activated. Yes, indeed. There we go. Another round. So we have the little canopy thing with the turret and the top. 2. And this is a burst gun autocannon, is it not? Dodge those bullets. Bombs are being dropped. Close to the Claymore. Now that will of course not be measured. Yes, indeed. A nice burst gun. We're dropping these ones here. And activated. It's a magnet in the front, is there not? No. It's probably in the back. Well, I do think we have collected enough materials to be able to judge the MB4 in a good way. So we're gonna move on to Cringe's second submission, which is the MB5, which has a very similar and beautiful design. Look at this thing. I think it looks absolutely fantastic, and this MB5 does heavily inspire me to make similar planes. Of course, probably not bombers, but some other type of craft that could be in the fleet. But this looks absolutely... this is one of my personal aesthetical favorites. But for grading the aesthetics of it, I will take help of the... I have actually collected results, but you will participate. The Army of Gmodism has participated, and the commissioned officers have also participated in judging the aesthetics. This has a lot of missiles going on there, so it's really gonna be really interesting. Let's get into the Claymore here. We have it spawned. Missiles have been spawned. We have a rotary autocannon, a rack, popping out there and providing fire. The Claymore has already received some surface damage. Ooh. Poor thing. Okay. Not dead yet. I do think these also has explosive shells. I must say it looks really cool when fighting, but looking at the results so far, I think that the MB5, the second submission here, seems to almost be more of a fighter or something, to take out bomb planes rather. I do feel like this MB5 I mean, it's the MB5, does provide better damage towards other like airborne targets. I do think this could be a great thing in taking out other fighters. But as for dealing damage, it's a little bit lackluster in firepower, I think. Ooh, that's a nice dodge. You can see it's the missiles popping in here. The damage is very surface type, and that's probably because it's smalls. They seem to have been a little bit optimized to not be taken out by lambs, but as I already stated, I do think this would be a better setup against other air targets. So in this particular challenge, it seems to struggle a little bit, but we're going to restart the battle and see if we get any other results. There we go. Look at that. It looks so cool. It looks so cool. Well, we seem to be able to deal more damage towards some of the cram blocks before. Already down by 3%, which is nice. Oh, and now we can see these missiles were fired before they had a proper lock-on. So we definitely missed the mark here with the second swoop. It's almost like this particular vessel should probably be going a little bit further away from the target to be able to properly re-aim its missiles to actually hit. Because at this scenario, when we're not dealing a lot of damage, it's very important that the damage we're trying to deal is actually being dealt. And it has some issues with that, but I will say it still provides decent damage, so I do think I have enough to actually grade this thing. Next out, we will be testing Captain Y's design. So, Captain Y is of course a captain because he's a captain in the Army of Gmodism, which is helping us a lot. And he has submitted a really good looking bomber too, and we are definitely going to test that, which is actually the last submission in the first challenge. So it's basically its first time to prove its damage dealing capabilities. Here we have the B409 by Captain Y, BY409. It has a beautiful looking cockpit like this, as you clearly can see. It even has a little Y logo there, and I do believe we actually can bail out from it if need be. So it's cruising around here a little bit at chill mode, and we're spawning the Claymore. Now this is very interesting. Oh, that's a sonar buoy, isn't it? To provide some better targets. A little unlucky strike there for the tail. I don't know if it dealt any damage there. I wonder, since it has a rope, if it will even harpoon the enemy or not. Alright, look at that. And the thing I really love about this particular design is that you can see the Army of Gmodism logo here, looking absolutely terrifying when it flies above to deal damage. And oh, it's a diff bomber. Those hit. But the damage they dealt was not that large. Okay, we're gonna repair you. It is looking splendid, but so far it hasn't been dealing much damage at all. Diff guns fired. Ooh! Look at that! Oh, that's some AI parts. Ooh. Alright. So first time it's misses, but the second time around it seemed to have been able to deal some pretty nasty damage. The Claymore hasn't despawned yet, but most of its AI parts seem to be gone, so it's unable to target. Look at that. More kinetic damage this time. Kinda surprises me this thing is still alive. Where is the bomber? There it is. BY-409. Going down for another swoop. Maybe. Oh yes. No. Is that a complete miss? It dealt some damage. More parts popping out there. Well, it doesn't have a chance fighting back. I do think that the Claymore's detection is already offline. Its AI is still there though. So while it's not dead, it seems that Captain Y's bomber has been able to effectively disable it. We're gonna restart the spell and see if we get any other results. We just need to appreciate the cruising abilities in this bomber. Now I think we are getting a little bit stuck there. I think it's hard to actually get out of this seat without having problems. But in any case, it looks absolutely splendid. There we go. Bomber is popping in here. Lining up. Ooh, we did not get shot by crams. That's good. Diff guns popping down there. That is some damage. Diff gun bomber seems to be a good way to go. I think that's something we can conclude so far from this challenge. The Trials Season 1, to be specific. It is despawned. Alright, that's very nice. That's very nice. So, if it's lucky and hits really well, it deals a lot of damage. it can delete a ship that's weak against EMP in one go. If not, it may have some troubles dealing the damage, but all in all, very cool design. I do know exactly, I think, how to grade this fairly compared to all the other designs. Very nice. You can see here, we just want to see. So you can see if we're hitting real lucky, we will kill the target directly. If we hit at another spot, we can almost effectively disable the Claymore's detection, which will keep us from not getting hit in future goes. Well. That is super cool. Now we have basically gone through all of the bombers to go against the first challenge, the Onyx Watch Claymore. And next out, we are going to test the targets. No, not the targets. We're gonna test the bombers against the submerged target. That's gonna be for the next challenge, because we wanna make sure that if we encounter a lightly submerged target, will the bombers have absolutely no clue where the enemy is and not be able to deal any damage at all, which is 0 points? Or does it have some wireless snoopers, or maybe even some sonar buoys or whatever, or even torpedoes against submerged targets? Something to actually take them out anyways. But that will be for next time. For this time, I think we're pretty done here. This is your host, Gmodism. I hope you have enjoyed this episode and that you have enjoyed watching all of the bombers throughout the episodes here. You've seen them all now. You've seen all 24 submissions tested against the Claymore, and we know the results. And you know what? I got my scoring here. I have my scoring in my book, and we have a lot more things to try, so stay tuned for that. If you want to join the next challenge, the next trials, which I will not tell you yet when that will be, but this one of course will be concluded first, you of course need to be in the Army of Gmodism, and you can do that by just self-assigning yourself Matroos 3rd class, or becoming, of course, you can also be a commissioned officer if you even want to support the channel, but just joining Matroos 3rd class is of course free. It's just in our Discord. Any case, this is your host and Lord High Admiral Gmodism in the Army of Gmodism. I have very much appreciated to test all of your 24 submissions in this challenge against the Claymore. And I'm looking forward to the future challenges, and I hope you have also enjoyed these testing sessions in our trials. In any case, this is your host and Lord High Admiral, and I'm signing out. You are very much dismissed.